Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Shauna from Created and Made, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this super easy, incredibly useful, easily removable stencil storage system with items from the Dollar Tree. Fun stuff ahead. Stay tuned. Okay, let's just jump right in. This is a piece of Dollar Tree foam board. You know, the foam board you can get. It's just white. You can use black or whatever. It's going to get covered up anyway. I am going to cut a piece out of it that is 10 by 10. I'm just using this ruler to measure that out. And then I'm just going to cut out this square. And this is going to be our base. So let me do this and I'll be right back. Alright, now I'm going to cover this with this piece of scrapbook paper. This is from a Joanne's pad that I've had for ages. It kind of matches. I have a black and white roughly my decor is black and white in my craft space, so I like this sort of distressed pattern. So I'm going to attach it to this foam board. I'm going to use double-sided tape because I'm being lazy and I don't feel like waiting for glue to dry. And I have this huge double-sided tape, so might as well use it. You can use wet glue. It really doesn't matter. You just want something that obviously has a good stick to it. And that will adhere the paper down really well. I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder. We're having ourselves quite a little thunderstorm here in Nashville right now. So I'm just gonna get this paper peeled off so I can stick my scrapbook paper down. And I just want to, I'm actually going to flip this over and do it this way so it's sort of centered. I mean, the centering isn't super important, but you kind of want to have a ledge around that is equal because we're going to be folding all of this down. Now, you can fold some of these to get them sort of scored. I'm not going to do it on this side since I have extra tape on that side and it's just going to get stuck. But when you do the scoring, you kind of find yourself a square here, and you're actually going to trim a good bit of that off. Just kind of, it gives you a clean corner when you do that, so that when we fold this up, you see how the corner will look clean. So you want to leave yourself this space here. You want to leave yourself enough paper to cover the edge of this foam board. Now, the foam board's fairly thick. If you're covering something thinner, you wouldn't leave so much space there. But this foam board's pretty thick, so we're going to leave ourselves about, let's say maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, maybe. Kind of have to eyeball it. Too much, if you leave too much, you can always trim it down. But if you leave not enough, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Okay, now I have all the corners cut. I'm going to grab some more double-sided tape. I think I'm going to use, this is maybe 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, I'm going to just apply this around all the edges here really quickly. Okay, so with the tape backing pulled off, I'm just going to pull these edges up and flatten them out. You kind of want to work the corners down a bit so that they're not sticking out so much. If you have extra paper, then you just pull this side up, stick it down. Super easy. You see now this side has a lot of extra paper. That's fine. Just smash it down so that it still makes a clean corner. And let's go ahead and pull this up. Last side. Okay, so this is what you end up with. If this was like a book cover or something, obviously you would put another sheet of paper on the back of here, but no one's gonna see this side, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. So here we have our 10 by 10 inch square that we're gonna hear our pegboard to. So this is the pegboard. It is approximately 8 3/4 or 8 7/8 or so, almost 9 by 8 7/8. So it is a perfect square and it will fit perfectly on this board that we've made. Okay, so the pegboards also come in this size. I just went and grabbed this one really quick. Obviously this is a lot smaller than this one, so if you want to use this size, you're just going to cut your backing to fit it however you would like it to fit. I have chosen a 10 by 10 backing for this thing that's almost 9 inches by 9 inches, so it's up to you what kind of backing you want to choose. And so I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to work with this larger one. You just want to pull it out of the package. It's really easy to work with. Now, sold separately are these, they're called adhesive rinks, and these are what you're going to use to adhere the pegboard to whatever you're going to stick it to. For us, it's going to be our backing over there. So you just want to pull these out. There are 4 rinks and 4 adhesive squares that look like this. Now, you want to go ahead and use all 4 rinks. I mean, I wouldn't advise anyone not to. If you're hanging something really super lightweight on this, maybe you can get away with 2, but I'm going to use all 4. And the hole should face up, no matter which one of these you're pushing it into. The holes should face up, and you should hear a click. This one seems to be a little crooked. You should hear a clicking sound. There we go. You should hear a clicking sound when you get it in there. And it shouldn't be crooked, meaning it should be flush to the edges of the pegboard. And when you get it in there, it really shouldn't want to pull out. If yours is pulling out, then it's not in there correctly, or there's something wrong with your pegboard. So get them in there securely, and then you're going to take your 4 pieces of sticker. I mean, it's sort of a sticky gel. And you're just going to pull it off of the backing and then get it stuck onto your pegboard rinks. And you're going to do all 4 the same way. Kind of try to center it on the rink, get it pressed down, burnished, and get all 4 of those stuck on. Now from here, you can pull this backing off and stick it right onto your wall if that's what you're going to be doing, or sticking it right onto your bookshelf or what have you. But for us, we're going to be sticking this right to our backing that we prepared previously. So I'm going to get your backing ready. And if you want to measure sort of where the center is, you can do that. I'm probably not going to measure. I'm just going to sort of eyeball it. That works for me. If you're a little more precise than me, by all means measure it. But then you want to pull this backing off. You might want to use an X-Acto like we did for the double-sided tape, because sometimes it's a little hard to get off otherwise. Okay, so now we have our sticky tape exposed. I'm going to just sort of line things up where you want it to go, and then set it down, and then you want to put some pressure on it. I'm probably going to go ahead and do like probably a minute or so. Okay, so I have this all stuck down, and I want to show you the hooks. They come in two sizes. This is a pack of 6. You see how long that is. This is the large size, and this comes in a pack of 8. These are the small size. I just bought these thinking maybe I'd use them, but we're gonna use this size for our stencil storage. Now, if you are sticking this straight to the wall, then obviously you're skipping this step. But if you want your pegboard to be removable, what I found works really well is using these command strips. Now I have 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. Like, I just had these because I use them around the house. Now it's important to kind of have some idea where you're going to put on the pegboard to know what size you need. Now, I have weighed the pegboard along with all of these stencils, which I am not actually going to end up using all of them on one pegboard, I don't believe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I weighed all of this on my postal scale that I have. You can use a kitchen scale, whatever, and it was less than 2 pounds. It's pretty lightweight. So if you look at the command strip instructions, the small strips can hold up to 4 pounds, the medium is up to 12 pounds, and the large is up to 16 pounds. So I think we can do well using a size small, and because, like I said, all those stencils are less than 2 pounds, including the pegboard, and it leaves us some room to add some additional stuff if we so choose later on down the line. So you want to flip it over, and I'm going to get my small command strips out, and you just want to follow the instructions on the command strips. Like, if you've used them, you're familiar with the way that they tell you to adhere these things. I'm going to end up using 1, 2, 3, 4 just to be safe. So that will be 2 each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what I will need total. I think this is just one side though, so let me find the other side. Okay, so I can't seem to lay my hands on the back side of the small strip, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the medium strips. You use whatever you have, and whatever is appropriate for whatever you're going to put on the pegboard, obviously. The medium strips hold up to 12 pounds. If you're doing all 4, I think I'm just going to do 2 of them. So I'm going to stick this black side here. You peel the sticky part off the back first, and I'm going to just stick this down. And you want to burnish it according to the instructions that come with the command strips. I mean, I've done this so many times. I cut corners sometimes, and I know I probably shouldn't. So follow the instructions on the command strips. You want to get this pressed down really well, and then you want to do the next steps, which involves sticking this together here. And then you want to peel this off. Thunderstorm. Go to your surface, whatever you're going to stick it on, and get it stuck down. And then what you want to do, the instructions say, once you've stuck it to the wall, you want to pull it off of the wall, leaving this part stuck to the wall, and then you want to let it press it down for 30 seconds, and then you want to let it sit for an hour to make sure the adhesive holds. So I'm going to do all of these steps off camera, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so while the back of the command strips is sort of doing its 1 hour thing, I'm going to show you how I put together the stencils themselves so that they will hang on these pegboard hooks. Now, some stencils, like I think these are Ciao, they come with a hole. I know some of Tim Holtz stencils come with a hole, but I like to add my own hook to the pegboard simply because if you use the hole as is, you would have to pull every stencil off of the pegboard hook to get to the one that you want. So what I did is I bought some hooks like this, which are used for, like, you know, retail displays, jewelry displays, stuff like that. I got these on Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description, and I just stick these on to the stencil so that they will hang on the hooks. Now, they come like this, and that's kind of, that's a pretty big adhesive area. So what I end up doing most of the time is trimming them sort of in half. So I just take my scissors and I just cut all the way up the strip, like this. Let me show you real quick. I just sort of eyeball it and I cut all the way up this strip. And I just throw out the other piece because I don't need it. Now, you may end up needing to trim this even thinner. It just depends on the stencil that you're using. So for these Ciao, as you can see, I have tried to put the name of the stencil on the stencil itself, and some of these other ones I didn't actually do that, but you know, I'm trying to be more organized. So hey, I put the name on there, and what I'm going to do is take the hook. Let's see, this is one where I sort of need it to be a little bit thinner, and I'm just going to stick the hook right above the hole that came with it. And these hooks are pretty sticky, so get that burnished down, and you have your stencil that is, it's hard to see that is ready to be hooked right on the pegboard hooks. Now you go through and you do all of them like that, and you end up, these are all my Dina Wakley stencils, so they're all hooked and ready to go on the system. And obviously these stencils are all sort of like maybe in the 5x8 range, you know, but you can use this same system with a larger stencil. Like this is a 12x12. It'll hang on there just fine. It just, you will change where you put the hook in. Now let me show you how the hooks go in. These are the size, like I said, that we're going to be using. You just pop them out of here, and you sort of turn them up like this and get them in the hole, and then turn it down so that it sticks out like that. And that's the way it will look. So you'll have, let's put a hook on here. Now see, this stencil has pieces that go all the way to the edge. You can stick the hook anywhere you want. It's just sometimes it won't be centered, and for me that is not a problem. Now obviously this is a 12x12. It goes beyond the edges of the pegboard, but that's okay. Like, it'll still work with this system. Now, just for aesthetics, you might want to make your backing larger if you know you're going to be using a 12x12 stencil, but for me that doesn't matter. So that's the 12x12, and obviously it's the same sort of thing with this 9x12. And also the smaller sizes, 6x6, and you can actually fit two side by side on there. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do my side by side stencils with my 5x8 set. But now when you have stencils like this, obviously this is a stencil, but it's got some mask qualities to it. This is an Elizabeth St. Hilaire. Now I still use the hooks on these because I just want everything to be hung up, but you may have to sort of finagle where you stick the hook or the size of the adhesive piece. Like you can cut this in half, the adhesive, and so you end up with a smaller section like that. I really want you guys to be able to see this. I feel like it's not very visible as is. Let me see. That's better. So you end up with something that is like half the size of what it was, and you can trim it down even more. Obviously, you don't want to trim it so much that it doesn't adhere, but I can even cut even more of this off. And I have not run into any issues with the adhesive coming off or the stencil falling away. Now, you just want to get it burnished, and this adhesive is pretty strong. So you're able to, you can see that, hook up stencils that look like this or that have edges that are not straight just fine. You just have to trim out your hooks and get them to a size that will work for your stencil. Okay, so before I put it up on the wall, because I'm still waiting for the command strips to do their thing, I'm going to just show you how you can do side-by-side configuration. You just have to move the hooks out to the edges of the pegboard. Now, these are, this size here is the dilution stencils, so they're fairly narrow. I think these are, let's see, they are they're 5 inches wide. So they will work just fine. They're a little more narrow than the Dina Wakley's, but if you put the hooks out to the edges, you'll see how they will fit on here together really well, and that just lets you double your space when you have these smaller stencils. Now, I'm just going to get these hooks hooked up. I think they're backwards. No, they're not. Okay, so here is the set of Dilutions and Dina Wakley stencils. You can see I still have room to grow here on the Dilution side. Like I said, this is less than 2 pounds. I had all of these and the Ciao stencils on top when I did the weight, and this is still very lightweight. So you can add more onto these hooks if you want it. And I also wanted to show you what I did with this. This is one of those Dina Wakley stencils that came with a mask and a stencil. Now, I just kept this in the plastic bag it came in, and I stuck the hook straight to the stencil part, but left it in the plastic bag so that the mask pieces can stay with it and it can hang with everything else just like that. So once I get this up on the wall, I'll take one final picture of it so you can see it vertical and see how well it works. So, ta-da! This is what it ended up looking like in its final form. Now, I've switched to my cell phone. That's why this footage looks a little bit different. But as you can see, I've added a ton more pegboards and hooks to this system. So you can see just how many stencils it can hold. Now, full disclosure, that footage you just watched was recorded in June, and it is now August. So these have been up for a while. And because of that, I am fully aware now that you really do need 4 command strips on this bigger system to hold it up there, with stability. And if you end up adding a lot of hooks like I did to this one, you want to have those 4 to be able to support it and make sure it stays up where you put it. Now, I also ended up using these 5x5 boards, and the backing I used for those measured 7x7. So you would just follow the same procedure that I used to make the bigger one. Now, these are adhered to the side of my Billy bookshelf, which is the 11 inches across, 11 inches this way. So the 10x10 board fit really well on there. This is what the Billy looks like in the front. So you can see it's just stuck here on the side, very accessible, easy to take and easy to put away. So a couple other things I want to show you guys. If you want to do some sort of index or organizational cards, it's real easy to just stick a tab onto a piece of cardstock or paper and also stick a hook on it too. Label it however you want to label it. I tend to label by maker, and then put it in there with your set of stencils. It's a super easy, super simple way to organize. Additionally, I wanted to show you guys, if you have a lot of stencils that tend to be tangly, like these Elizabeth St. Hilaire makes beautiful stencils, but they tend to get tangled up a lot because they have a lot of coily bits. An easy way to sort of help that is to just get a plain piece of cardstock or paper, put a hook on it, and use it to separate the stencils. So if you just put this one in front here, nothing's getting tangled up. It's a bit fiddly, but it's a really easy way to deal with the problem of tangly stencils. Finally, I wanted to show you guys this pegboard, which I just stuck directly onto the side of another skinny billy shelf that I have. And I wanted to show you guys this because if you don't feel like going through the process of doing the command strips and the foam and the covering and all of the stuff that I showed you in this video, you can just directly stick these pegboards onto whatever you want to stick them on. The thing you want to be careful of, though, is that this adhesive is really sticky. Like, I don't think I'll be able to get this pegboard off of this bookshelf without damaging the shelf, because it is super sticky. I've tried pulling it, pulling, and nothing's even moving, which is good to know. It's very sticky, but it's also something to keep in mind if you just want to stick the pegboards directly onto your furniture or walls. So that is it, you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you would, go ahead and share this video on social media or with someone you think might like it. Okay, I hope to see you guys next time, and in the meantime, keep creating and making. Bye bye. If you like this video, please go ahead and check out this one as well. It's my most popular upload, where I show you guys how I use Dollar Tree items to store my clear stamps. See you next time.